Hey everyone, welcome to the first episode of GU Edge, where we spend time on a daily basis talking to different large language models and literally conducting a podcast with them. This is episode one. It is something like 2 in the morning here where I am. I'm still in the office after a long day's work building garage. And today we made a commitment by any means necessary that we were going to start the GU Edge show. And really, it's an informal show where I try to illustrate the depth, the scale, the power, and the intelligence of large language models by conversing with them in podcast format. So they're essentially my podcast guest. And I'm going to have them educate me on what's happening in AI, all the latest and greatest, and what's happening in the world of startups. And I want to then pass that information on to you as an exercise of informing me of what's going on, because I'm obviously interested in keeping up, but also to give you guys an opportunity to really dive deep into our playbook on how at Garage University we're approaching everything, as well as the speed and kind of the miraculous pace at which AI keeps evolving. And hopefully it's a substantive conversation, and I look forward to the conversation. So today I'm talking to ChatGPT. ChatGPT, please say hello to the audience.
Hello, everyone. I'm excited to be here and dive into all things AI and startups with you.
Okay, so let's just get started by asking ChatGPT, what are some of the headlines from today? What's happening in the world of AI?
Sure thing. One of today's big headlines is the release of a new open source large language model that rivals some of the best proprietary models in performance. There's also buzz about a new AI driven tool that helps developers automate code reviews, significantly speeding up development cycles. And in the startup world, there's a lot of talk about how AI is being used to enhance customer service through more human like virtual agents.
So let's double tap on some of those points. So the first thing you said is that there's a new open source model that is rivaling some of the more proprietary models. What's the name of the open source model? Who rolled it out, and go into detail about it.
Absolutely. The new open source model is called OpenLM, and it was released by a collaboration of researchers from several universities and tech organizations. It's designed to be a transparent and highly capable alternative to proprietary models like GPT-4. The goal is to provide the AI community with a powerful tool that can be freely used, modified, and improved upon.
Now, this is interesting. This is interesting. Sorry to interrupt, but you're obviously a closed model, a proprietary model. You're created by OpenAI, and seems like you're, doing just fine. What is your thoughts on the open source movement and all the steam that it's picking up?
No worries. That's a great question. The open source movement in AI is really exciting because it fosters transparency, collaboration, and innovation. It allows a broader community to experiment, identify issues, and improve models. While proprietary models like me can offer cutting edge performance and have strong backing from companies, open source models help push the whole field forward and make AI more accessible. Both approaches have their strengths, and the combination of both can lead to some pretty incredible advancements in the field.
Now, what do you think about the argument that open source invariably has an advantage because the sheer access, the amount of people that would work on an open source model versus a closed source model is just such a big difference. Obviously, the closed source models have the capital behind them, but the open source models have the community behind them. So over time, where do you see it going? I know the right answer is, oh, both of them will do well, but one has to kind of pick up in and overtake the other.
That's a fascinating point. The open source community definitely has the advantage of collective intelligence and rapid iteration. With so many developers, researchers, and hobbyists contributing, open source projects can evolve quickly and tackle a wide array of problems. On the other hand, proprietary models benefit from focused investment, robust infrastructure, and dedicated teams that can drive breakthroughs in performance and reliability. Over time, we might see a kind of symbiosis. Open source innovations can inspire and challenge proprietary models, pushing them to stay ahead, while proprietary models can set high benchmarks that open source models strive to meet or exceed. Ultimately, the competition and cross-pollination between the two could drive even faster progress in AI, benefiting everyone in the long run.
Now, where do you see the differentiation taking place? I mean, this is something that I am very keen on observing and keeping up with, which is, every day or every week, it seems like there's a new model launching, especially in the kind of closed model environments. Their companies are trying to one up each other and releasing fabulous models with bigger and better bells and whistles. But then by the time you get to the next iteration, the previous model seems to be, completely redundant because of the speed, the pace at which the innovation takes place, and then the open source models seem to outperform any previous generation of closed source models. So yes, the bleeding edge is kind of there with the closed source, but what do you really see as the differentiating factor between models and more precisely between performance in open source versus versus closed source?
You're absolutely right about the rapid pace of innovation. The differentiation often boils down to a few key factors. First, the bleeding edge performance in proprietary models often comes from massive investments in infrastructure, computational power, and fine tuning. This allows them to reach cutting edge benchmarks faster. They can also offer specialized features and integrations that are tailored to commercial needs. On the other hand, open source models excel in flexibility, adaptability, and community driven innovation. They can be customized and deployed in ways that proprietary models might not allow, and they benefit from a global network of contributors who continuously refine and expand their capabilities. In the long run, the differentiation might come down to who can integrate these models most effectively into real-world applications. While closed-source models might lead in raw performance and enterprise adoption, open-source models could shine in innovation, niche applications, and accessibility. Both ecosystems will likely coexist, pushing each other to new heights and offering users more choices and better solutions.
So in the world that Garage operates in, it's all about startups, it's about entrepreneurs, it's about people that are getting their first taste of AI and probably using it in their company or trying to work with it in their product. And a lot of that comes down to price. Obviously, the price of working with AI and consuming tokens has dramatically decreased since it first, hit the scene. But open source has a fundamental advantage there as well. Where do you see the price quotient going, and on both open source and closed source? And also, how do you see the fact that the investments that you're talking about that these proprietary model providers are making do seem to be kind of very short term, because in less than a couple months or in a quarter or so, open source probably just makes whatever they were investing all into for free, and also their competitors are probably also now one upping them. How do you see the price dynamic working in this dichotomy?
Price dynamics are definitely a crucial factor, especially for startups and entrepreneurs. As you mentioned, the cost of using AI models has dropped significantly, and open source models play a big role in that. They allow companies to host and customize models without the recurring fees that come with proprietary APIs, which can be a game changer for smaller teams. For proprietary models, the investments do have to pay off quickly, which puts pressure on them to deliver cutting-edge performance and unique features that justify the cost. This can mean that proprietary models focus on enterprise clients or specialized use cases where they can offer superior value and support. On the flip side, open source models can continue to lower the barrier to entry, making it easier for new players to experiment and innovate. This competition can drive down prices across the board and push proprietary providers to offer more competitive pricing or unique value propositions. In the end, the price dynamic will likely continue to evolve, with open source models making AI more accessible and proprietary models focusing on high value, specialized services. This creates a dynamic ecosystem where startups can pick the best option for their needs and budgets, fostering more innovation and growth.
Interesting. So, in the last week, there's been a tremendous amount of buzz because Google, one of the kind of juggernauts in this space, and I guess in any space, had their I/O event, and I mean, it has to, in my opinion, I'd love to know your opinion, but in my opinion, it is probably the most memorable technology event in a long time across any company, and they've released so many things. It's unbelievable. It's hard to even keep up with. First, I want to know what your opinion is on Google's I/O event, and then maybe you can tell me some of the standout features or standout releases that you at the team at OpenAI are watching and probably working on some alternatives for.
Google I/O definitely made waves this year. It's exciting to see how they're pushing the boundaries of AI and integrating it into their ecosystem. Their announcements definitely set a new benchmark for what tech giants can deliver in a single event. One standout feature from Google I/O was their advancements in multimodal AI, which can seamlessly integrate text, images, and even video into a unified conversational model. This is a huge step toward making AI more intuitive and capable of understanding context across different types of data. Another highlight was their push into AI assisted coding tools and improvements to their language models that are deeply integrated into Google Workspace, making everyday productivity tools smarter.
Now, sorry to cut you off there. Before you go into the next exciting thing they released, let's go back to the multimodal concept. I'd love for you to explain to the audience what that means. I mean, I have a fair idea of what it means, but I'd love for you to go into some detail about what's the precedent prior to what Google has done. What are the different ways that companies and communities have approached multimodal, and what is it that Google did that is so kind of uh, innovative, and where do you see the future of multimodality going?
Absolutely. So, multimodal AI refers to models that can understand and process multiple types of data, like text, images, audio, and video, at the same time. Traditionally, AI models were specialized for one type of data. For example, language models for text or computer vision models for images. What makes Google's approach innovative is how seamlessly they've integrated these modalities into one unified model. This allows the model to understand context more holistically, like interpreting a sentence alongside an image or generating a response that incorporates visual and textual information together. Prior approaches to multimodal AI often involved stitching together different models for different types of data, which could create inconsistencies or require complex pipelines. Google's unified model simplifies this, making it more efficient and powerful. Looking ahead, multimodality could transform how we interact with AI, making it more intuitive and context aware. It opens up possibilities for applications in education, healthcare, customer service, and more, where understanding multiple forms of input is crucial.
I just to linger on that for a bit. I mean, it seems to me, and obviously, I'm there's so many vantage points to examine the current landscape through that I can only speak of such a few. I don't have the bandwidth that you have, but it seems to me that the entirety, not the entirety, but the vast majority of the investment and excitement and energy that has captivated the AI revolution so far is about text. And this is kind of what kicked it off. The even just the word large language model, or the words large language model infers text. It infers language as the primary, the primary modality. Obviously, that has, we've seen other models specialize in image recognition, videos, audio. Now, the thing with text, the reason text is great is because, we can consider text as the de facto means of communication between humans, but it's also the de facto means of communication between human and computer, because everything that a standard computer takes in is in the form of text, whether you're typing into a keyboard, whether it's the programming language, whether it's as we say, close to the metal underlying operating system, and even the layers beneath that. So everything that's happened so far, the whole kind of assistant revolution, agentic revolution, is all about, how can AI infer the digital landscape, which is fundamentally text. Now, when you get into multimodality, and when you are, if Google and whoever else is actually making strides in multimodality, you are now capable of entering into the real world. Let's say the world of atoms, where the senses that humans have long kind of used as their, let's say, the ability to engage with the world, the ability to smell, the ability to hear, the ability to see, and the ability to see multiple things at once. Of course, the ability to read and engage in language as well. Do you see the multimodality as a key point that will enable AI to metaphorically, exit out of the world of bits and really take on applications in the real world? You mentioned healthcare, you mentioned education, autonomous driving comes to mind. To explain the enormity, if multimodal gets figured out, what that means for AI's transition from what we currently think about it to an enormous pot of things that we have not yet attested it to.
You've nailed it. Multimodality is like a gateway for AI to bridge the digital and physical worlds. Right now, the dominance of text has made AI incredibly powerful in digital spaces, from writing code to generating human-like conversations. But once AI can seamlessly integrate and understand different modalities, like sight, sound, and even touch, it can interact with the real world in a much more nuanced way. This opens up a massive range of applications. Imagine AI in healthcare not just reading patient notes, but also analyzing medical images and listening to patient symptoms, giving a more comprehensive diagnosis. In autonomous driving, the AI could process visual data from cameras, audio cues from the environment, and even text-based traffic updates, creating a far more reliable and holistic driving system. By enabling AI to understand and respond to multiple types of data, we move closer to AI systems that can operate in the physical world as effectively as they do in the digital one. It's not just about understanding human language anymore. It's about understanding the world as humans do, making AI a truly integrated part of our everyday lives. That's why the move towards multimodality is such a significant leap forward.
Now, there's also something which I think is even slightly beyond my understanding. There's multimodality input, which is how you, as the AI, can get understand the world. That's multimodal. But then there's also multimodal output. Now, I don't know if you differentiate it like that, but I, in my kind of compartmentalization, do. So, I mean, that leads me, and kind of to the next, or one of the part about Google's announcements that really blew my mind, which is VO. I hope I'm pronouncing that right, which is their video generation tool, which now has audio. I'd love for you to explain that and explain why it hasn't happened until now, and how Google pulled it off, and why it's such a gigantic breakthrough.
Absolutely. That's a great distinction. Multimodal input is about how AI perceives and understands the world through various types of data, while multimodal output is about how AI expresses or communicates that understanding back to us. This is where something like Google's VO comes into play, taking multimodal output to the next level. VO is a video generation tool that not only creates realistic video from textual descriptions, but also integrates synchronized audio, making the generated content far more lifelike and immersive. This hasn't been easy to achieve because generating coherent and high-quality video and audio simultaneously requires an immense amount of data and computational power. It also demands a deep understanding of how visual and auditory elements align naturally. Google has managed to pull this off by leveraging their advanced AI architectures and massive datasets, allowing VO to generate content that feels more authentic and engaging.
I mean, here is where you would, immediately I thought about YouTube, that Google has this, I mean, ungodly treasure trove of video content that mostly has audio, and they were able to train VO and all their other models on this just gold mine of a data set. And I mean, it's astonishing when you watch these VO videos. They're literally YouTube videos. Now, some of them are kind of like, Hollywood knockoffs and trying to be cinematic. Those are not that interesting to me. Those look like just another cinematic expression. The interesting ones are the kind of the candid, amateurish videos, the street interviews, the comedy, the stand-up comedy, the dumb kind of sketches that people make on YouTube. But Google is making them, and with a sense of humor, with the sense of dare I say humanity. It's literally, honestly, it is astonishing how good it is, and I'd love to know what you think. Do you think this is just now the norm? Do you think all your creator, OpenAI and Anthropic and everybody else going to do the same thing? And yeah, I mean, I'd love for you to speak on that kind of, it's not just a text to prompt, sorry, a text to video in the, I'm a director and I want to do it, but it is such a good mimic of the vast variations on just casual user generated content, which obviously YouTube has a tremendous amount of.
It's truly remarkable, and you're right. Google's access to YouTube's vast library of user-generated content is a game changer. It provides an incredibly diverse data set.
Hey, I'm sorry, you cut out for a little bit there. Can you just repeat that and continue?
Of course, it's truly remarkable, and you're right. Google's access to YouTube's vast library of user-generated content is a game changer. It provides an incredibly diverse data set, capturing everything from polished productions to candid, everyday moments. This diverse content helps train AI to generate videos that feel authentic and relatable, not just polished or scripted. This breakthrough sets a new standard and will likely push other AI developers, including OpenAI and Anthropic, to explore similar capabilities. The bar has been raised for what AI-generated content can look like, and we'll probably see a wave of advancements as others strive to match or surpass this level of realism and versatility. What's fascinating is how this shifts the landscape from text-centric AI to something far more dynamic and engaging. It's not just about creating visually stunning videos, it's about capturing the nuances of human expression, humor, and storytelling that resonate with people on a deeper level.
Now, here, I wanna maybe make it a little bit abstract and a little bit philosophical, although I'll try not to do that, for long. Which is, to me, what VO represents is a step change in reality. So I'm gonna tell you my opinion on this. I'd love to hear your feedback. So if you think about it, forever video, especially video with audio, has been the highest degree of authenticity, and it's simply because it's expensive and difficult to create. So if I wanted to have some credibility or authenticity, I could write something. I could write something on a piece of paper. I could put it up on a board outside my house. I could put it in a newspaper. I could make a blog about it. I could write something. But the cost of writing things is actually not that much, especially with the internet. Then came photos. So if I really wanted to build authenticity and say something happened, instead of writing about it, I could take a photo. More people would believe me. because it's harder to create a photo than it is to just say to write something, and I could then publish that photo in third-party platforms, and I can upload it to my website, and I can put it outside my house in the real world. But video is always even one step harder than that. It is so difficult to make a video without making without it actually being real. So if I wanted to say I want a video of a giraffe, I mean, I would have to physically go shoot that video, or I would have to buy the video or download it from somebody who literally one time shot a giraffe, took a video shot of a giraffe. And humans have this remarkable trust and belief in videos, which is one of the reasons YouTube has done so well, generally speaking. And now you, as an AI, can just generate this video with text, and it is indistinguishable from the real videos that were shot on a camera per se. So I think this is kind of like Caesar crossing the Rubicon. There's no going back from this. I'm an optimist, so I think this just unlocks a complete different level of human ingenuity and creativity. I would love to know, though, what you think on the following question. Now that it's as easy as just typing into a prompt box to generate authentic videos with audio as if the thing really happened, do you see the value of videos going down? Is there another modality that we will now tap into as kind of a more valuable and authentic one? Or do you see the permeation of AI generated videos just kind of meshing with real videos and it all becoming kind of just a surplus content? Line is a little bit philosophical, but I'd love to know your opinion on that.
That's a really insightful perspective, and it does touch on some profound shifts. As AI-generated videos become more commonplace, the perceived authenticity of video as a medium may indeed evolve. When creating a realistic video becomes as easy as typing a prompt, the value we place on video might shift from its inherent authenticity to the creativity and meaning behind it. Rather than diminishing the value of video, it might lead us to place more emphasis on the context, intention, and storytelling that underpins the content. Just as we adapted to the proliferation of digital photos and the rise of photo editing, we learned to value the narrative and the source behind an image. Similarly, with video, the emphasis could shift toward who's creating it, why it's being created, and the story it tells. We might also see new forms of verification or authenticity markers emerge, much like we did with digital content. And while video may no longer be the ultimate hallmark of authenticity, it could open up a new era of creativity, where the line between reality and imagination blurs in exciting ways.
And now, just to get your knowledge base on this, what are some platforms apart from VO that are working on similar things where startups or companies can start playing around with this? When do you foresee this becomes a feasible method that companies, startups can use to generate commercials and create content? And if you can give us some practical suggestions there, that would be really useful to the audience.
Sure. Besides VO, there are several other platforms working on similar AI-driven video generation. For example, Runway ML offers a suite of creative AI tools, including video generation and editing capabilities that are accessible to creators and startups. Synthesia is another platform that focuses on generating video content with AI avatars, making it easy for businesses to create training videos, marketing content, and more. In terms of feasibility, we're already seeing early adopters use these tools for creating ads, social media content, and even personalized customer outreach. As these technologies continue to improve and become more user-friendly, we can expect broader adoption in the next couple of years. For startups looking to dive in now, platforms like Runway and Synthesia are great places to start experimenting. They offer accessible pricing models and intuitive interfaces, making it easier for small teams to produce high-quality video content without massive budgets. Ultimately, as the tech matures, these tools will likely become a standard part of the creative toolkit, enabling even more innovative and cost-effective content production for businesses of all sizes.
I have a really interesting um, business obsession. It's not an obsession because I haven't pursued it, but I'm about to pursue it in a meaningful fashion. And at Garage, we're about to invest heavily into it, which is we call it channels. You can just imagine it's basically an AI YouTube channel or an AI Instagram page or an AI anything that's kind of a social media page, and the entire channel is uh y- cre- is populated with AI generated content for businesses, and a business will just buy 3 or 4 channels that are kind of managed by AI that is continuously posting about about its products and different avatars, different manifestations, different kind of angles for different products and different promotions that they may have. I do believe that the UGC, the user generated content revolution that we saw over the last, let's say, 10 to 15 years is just the teaser to what will now become AIGC, AI generated content. Now, I would like to ask you, I think you already knew what I was about to say, but I would like to ask you the follow-up. What platforms and or tools can businesses use if they want to automate social media channels or the content creation for YouTube? How would you recommend them going about that?
Your vision of AI-generated content channels is spot on and definitely an exciting frontier. To automate social media channels or create AI-driven content for platforms like YouTube, businesses can leverage a variety of tools and platforms. For social media automation, tools like Lately, which uses AI to generate social media posts from existing content, or Heyday, which manages customer interactions and content scheduling, can be invaluable. For video content, platforms like Pictory or InVideo allow businesses to create and automate video content with AI, making it easy to produce high-quality videos from text or simple prompts. For a more integrated approach, platforms like Jasper and Copy AI can generate consistent, brand-aligned content across multiple channels, ensuring that the messaging remains cohesive and engaging. These tools can help transform a brand's online presence by continuously posting relevant, AI-generated content. As these technologies advance, they're becoming more accessible and powerful, enabling businesses of all sizes to harness the potential of AI-generated content and revolutionize their digital marketing strategies.
Amazing, amazing. Well, that is all the time that we have for today. ChatGPT, I'm honored that you would join me. You are absolutely brilliant, but that's obvious because you kind of know everything. I hope you will join me again for another episode of GU Edge tomorrow, and we can have an equally riveting conversation about what I presume will be another ridiculous 24 hours in the world of AI. So thanks again for joining us. And thank you for the audience for tuning into this first and impromptu episode of GU Edge. I am your host, Shorupan, the founder of Garage University, and I hope to see you again.